Asa, who had ruled Judah, the southern kingdom, had been a good king and did much that pleased the Lord. But like many of the 7 churches at the beginning of the book of Revelation, God indicated that Asa had left some things undone that he should have done. We'll pick up the story from there. Hi, I'm Ken Godevanis, and this, once again, is Digging for Scriptural Gems. Thank you for joining us. Today we're studying 1 Kings chapter 15, verses 16 to 24. That's 1 Kings chapter 15, verses 16 to 24. To begin with, we are told in verse 16 that there was a new king in the northern kingdom of Israel by the name of Baasha, B-A-A-S-H-A, Baasha. At this point, the kings of the northern Israel kingdom had been Jeroboam the first, Nadab, and now Baasha. The kings of the southern Judah part of the kingdom had been Rehoboam, Abijah, and Asa. And verse 16 says that Asa and Baasha were at war with each other during their entire reigns. Baasha fortified Ramah to prevent anyone from getting to Asa or allowing anyone to leave Asa's realm. Ramah is the present-day city of Ramallah in the central West Bank in Israel. It is inhabited primarily by non-Jewish settlers known as Palestinians. The NAT says Baasha had established it as a military outpost. So what does Asa do when that happens? Well, he takes all the silver and gold in the treasuries of the house of the Lord, although the NAT adds that he does this also from the palace. He takes the same kinds of things from the palace treasury, and he gives them to his servants and sends them off with a message to Ben-Hadad. Ben-Hadad, the son of Tramimon, the son of Hezion, king of Aram, or as the NAT translates it, king of Syria. And he lived in Damascus, which today is a very prominent city in Syria, in modern-day Syria as well. And via a message, he asked Ben-Hadad to accept all these gifts and break his treaty with Baasha and form a treaty with himself in order that Baasha would feel less secure and withdraw from being at war with Asa, since he couldn't do it all by himself. And what happens? Well, Ben-Hadad accepts the deal. Apparently, Asa reminded him that their fathers had a similar treaty between them. Ben-Hadad then sends his armies to fight off against the cities of Israel in the north, conquering many of them. This included Kinnereth, a city in Galilee, as first mentioned in Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 17. And Kinnereth is also another name for the Sea of Galilee. In any case, when Baasha learned of these things happening, he did indeed stop ratifying Ramah, and he remained instead in Tirzah. He could not oppose Judah on his own now that Syria sided against him. Chuck Smith says, now it seems that what Asa did was indeed a brilliant strategy on his part. And yet, when we get into Chronicles later on, we find that God rebuked Asa for this. Now, you'll have to wait for that, or you can check it out on your own in 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verses 7 to 10. Then Asa makes a proclamation for all to obey. All in his kingdom had to obey this proclamation, and that was that they had to carry all the stones of Ramah and the timbers that Baasha had used to build this fortification. All those had to be carried away, and with them, Asa takes them and had Geba of Benjamin, in the land of Benjamin, and Mizpah built. So he takes what the enemy had used, carries it away, and builds Geba and Mizpah. Then in verse 23, we're told how the rest of the acts of Asa are written in the book of Chronicles. We've heard this before. We're also told that due to his age, he had a very serious foot disease. And again, we'll get more on this later in Chronicles. Commentator Wiseman says that some think that Asa's foot ailment was indeed gout, but gout was uncommon, he writes, in Palestine and ancient Egypt, and it is more likely in view of Asa's age, the severity of the disease and death within 2 years to have been a peripheral obstructive vascular disease with ensuing gangrene, end of quote. Commentator Poole says, quote, he committed 3 great faults amongst many others. First, he alienated things consecrated to God without necessity, taking the things from the temple or the house of the Lord and using it for his purposes. Secondly, he did this out of carnal fear and distrust of the fact that God's power would no longer work for him. And he mislaid God's goodness that he had experienced. Thirdly, he did this for ill intent, to hire him to the breach of his league and covenant with Baasha, and to take away part of that land which by right and the special gift of God belonged to the Israelites. Now, Robert Jameson puts it this way: Asa's religious character is now seen to decline. He trusted not in the Lord, 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 7. And in verse 24, we learn that he died and was buried in the city of David with his fathers. And then his son, Jehoshaphat, became king of Judah. This would be king number 4 for the southern kingdom. Now, once again, God appoints people to various roles in life, and each one of us has an opportunity to do his will in those roles. We don't all succeed the same way. What really matters is our heart and our attitude primarily, to be followed by our efforts and service to the Lord. That's what we need to focus on, our heart and our attitude, then our efforts and service to the Lord. Now, next time we're going to head up north again in the kingdom of Israel and see what's happening there. Join us for that. In the meantime, if you like what we're doing, like what you see, hear, read, please indicate so by clicking the like on this particular video. And also, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Digging for Scriptural Gems. Above all, keep on studying God's Word.